So we have a new poll that just came out. This is being reported in The Hill. Most Americans oppose laws prohibiting elementary school LGBTQ lessons. So this is in reference to Florida's what's dubbed the "Don't Say Gay" bill. That's the what the opponents of the bill call it. Most Americans are opposed. Hold on. Most Americans are opposed to state government laws that prohibit LGBTQ lessons from being taught in elementary schools, according to a new ABC News poll. The latest poll found that 62% of those surveyed oppose any type of legislation that prohibits LGBTQ lessons from being taught in schools, while 37% of those asked support a prohibition. 61% who identify as Republican support legislation that would ban LGBTQ lessons being taught to children, while 20% of Democrats and 35% of independents said the same. So Republicans are opposed, but everybody else isn't. 43% who are 65 years of age or older agree with a ban on LGBTQ lessons, but that dropped to 1/3 for those 50 years of age or older, according to the survey. 65% of those surveyed who are college educated oppose such a ban on lessons, while 60% of who have high school GED degrees or less also oppose the legislation. The poll found that 87% who identify as LGBTQ oppose such legislation, and 59% who don't identify as LGBTQ said the same. A number of GOP-controlled states have either introduced or passed legislation that intends to prohibit LGBTQ lessons in their school systems. Florida's state legislature recently passed the Parental Rights in Education bill, known as the Don't Say Gay bill, which bars educators in the state from talking about sexual orientation or gender identity in primary schools. Parents would be able to take legal action against school districts they believe the measure has been violated. The ABC News poll was conducted from March 11th through 12th using responses from 622 adults. The poll had a margin of sampling error of 4.4 points. Okay, so I'm not surprised by the findings here, because now, gay marriage has been legal for a while now. Gay rights has been on the agenda for a while now. Gays have won on most of, their issues. They're even a protected class now in most states. Trans people still aren't in, I think, over 20 states. But there's been a tremendous movement in the right direction on gay rights. And I feel like ever since we got gay marriage in the country, the right has largely abandoned that front of the fight. Now, the trans rights is a different thing. We're coming up on that battle now, but at least the gay rights battle is gone, or at least massively reduced. To talk about LGBTQ existence to young people in elementary school, that, people on the right seem to think it's nefarious or whatever, like it's a teacher pushing some sort of rigid ideology on the kids. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like it's teachers, by and large, just explaining what is to children, and they say what? It's up to third grade or something, that after third grade, they're allowed to talk about it, but before third grade, they're not allowed to talk about it. I don't know what the right age is to talk about it. I'm sure there are conversations with parents earlier on, but to just explain to kids, like, hey, everybody's different. Some people like the same sex. Some people like the opposite sex. Some tiny percentage of people are asexual. Some people are born as one biological sex, but they feel like the other. And so we call that transgender. To just have an explanation of what is in the classrooms is not... There's nothing about that's risque or controversial or goes over the line to me. Now, I'm sure there are instances where you could find some teachers here or there who are weird and they are going further than that. Okay, fair enough. We could talk about those cases when they pop up. But at least in the broad conversation, most teachers are just going to explain what is to the children. And I see nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that's just standard education stuff. And so for Florida, to crack down on this as if there's some sort of massive problem, it's just a solution in search of a problem. And it's just social conservatism that's rearing its head in a different and new way now. There was an original version of the bill that was much stricter, and then they dropped some of the provisions. Like in the original bill, the Don't Say Gay bill, there was something where you basically have to out the kids to parents. So if the kid is gay or trans or whatever, they have to go talk to the parents about it and out them. And the kid might not be ready. The kid might not feel comfortable doing that. And so that part was in the original bill. They ended up dropping that in the final version of the bill, thank God. But still, the bill is just weird. Like, it's just weird to be obsessed with this issue and to say you're not allowed to talk about it. I'm sure those conversations happen I don't know, probably around that second or third grade level, naturally anyway, with the parents to one extent or another, maybe sooner, I don't know. But Americans clearly are more on the side of, more knowledge, more education, more explanation, and not on the side of, hey, just hide it and don't talk about it openly. I get that some parents say, look, we want to be the ones to have the conversation first. Okay, well then just have the conversation first. You bring it up first when they're very young, if that's what you want to do. But to hide it in school strikes me as silly. It reminds me a little bit of the panic from years ago of like when to teach sex ed to kids. There was like a big debate over when to teach sexual education to kids, and the conservatives wanted to raise the age more and more and more. Liberals wanted to keep it at a younger age. So, you sort of explain before the changes happen with puberty, et cetera, et cetera. And this strikes me as another similar battle to that. But at the end of the day, I side with the American people. I think they're largely correct. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.